Trump did win. So that means that thankfully we have avoided having to talk about conspiracy theories, except no, we didn't at all, because the fact that he won is not gonna stop his base. They like the idea that there are conspiracy theories. It's not like they see a thing and they have to explain it. They want to believe that stuff is being manipulated, stuff is being rigged. They wanna believe that they're being robbed because that makes them feel empowered for some reason. And you might think, well, how are they gonna think that? I mean, Trump mopped the floor with Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Well, the thing is, Haley won one county by one vote, and that's all it takes to get them going. And so the pro-Trump message boards are aflame with people saying that it was rigged to give her that one county win by one race so that she could say it's a two-person race, which we'll get to later on. They rigged it so she could say that. Others saying to win by one vote is just too conspicuous. It looks like an FU from the deep state. Responses in the same thread urged Trump to call for a recount in order to trigger his opponents. So they do want a recount, even though he won overwhelmingly in 99% of counties. And the amazing thing is that they can rig it so that she wins one county by one vote, and for some reason decided not to have her win overall. Why? Why do it this way? It doesn't make any sense, Brett.
They're like everyone in Iowa that says stuff like this is like that like soccer parent who doesn't want to put in the backups. They just want to start all their starters as they're trouncing like another group of children 35-0. It's like, you gotta give up. And that's like the weird, scary, fashy thing that everybody's talking about with the Trump supporters, where they're like it is improbable that you would win 99% of the counties. Like, it is improbable, and you losing one is okay. You got to get over it. But that's just Donald Trump's messaging and brand, where no matter what happens, you don't do the thing that most decent, normal people would do. You have to put out this affect of like, if I ever lose anything, then there is some massive conspiracy. It smells a lot like, Kim Jong-un never pooping and hitting and shooting an 18 on the golf course.
Brett, you just start that rumor. Start the rumor that Trump has never pooped, and assert that if you don't believe that, then you are not a true MAGA believer. And in 1 week, Jesse Waters will be saying it.
But here's the thing, here's what's weird is, like, I don't know why anyone would think that a cold caucus, sorry, the word's funny. I don't know why anyone would think a cold caucus would hurt Donald Trump. Donald Trump has the fanatics. Everyone challenging Donald Trump is going against the fanatics. Like, they say it avowedly. Like, Nikki Haley supporters are saying that more than anything else they're saying. And so the people who are like, I know this is a losing cause, they're the ones who are most likely to stay home. Donald Trump only had like 12, 15 rallies in Iowa, and the lines were around the block. People do stand out in the cold for this guy. He's the only one who can like inspire that kind of behavior in people. So that's why he overperformed on his previously sub 50 polling.
Yeah, that is correct. When people were certain that, I never really understood why Haley people would be more committed to go out. I don't exactly understand why that makes sense, but I just wish that the conspiracy theorists would figure out what the core of the conspiracy is, because it's weird as an outside observer that, as you say, if they lose, it's a conspiracy, but also if they win almost everything but not quite everything, it's a conspiracy, because they simultaneously are the biggest victims in the world and everything is against them and they can't possibly win, but also they can't understand it if they don't win in literally every conceivable way simultaneously. And everything is rigged against Trump, but for some reason they allowed him to win in 2016. They're allowing him to win this time around, and the polls when they're against Trump are rigged against Trump, but he's leading in the polls right now. So why aren't they rigging the polls against Trump? It just none of it makes sense, except for obviously the deep psychological and emotional longing that underlies all of it, to feel a certain way, to feel like the ultimate victim and simultaneously the strongest, most awesome person that's ever existed. And that is there's no value underlying any of this. There's no evidence underlying any of this. There is only this whole that desires a feeling of superiority that Donald Trump gives them, and they will contort themselves in whatever weird positions mentally they need to briefly get that high.
And the question is, do they even believe it? That's the most fascinating question for me. Or, are they just like, I get to act this way? They're all giving off mall cop vibes, where it's like, they don't have any real power. There's nothing. They're just exerting like this overwhelming swagger because they can.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.